Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com and welcome to the webinar on SEO. So in today's webinar, we will be discussing about keyword research, content marketing and content writing. And we have Sanjay Shenoy in the room, who is the co-founder of PixelTrack, my business partner, and he is the SEO expert in the house. So Sanjay Shenoy will be taking you through all the SEO basics that you need to know. So over to you, Sanjay. Get started and yeah.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Hello, everyone. I see that there are about 750 people live, and it's amazing to see so many people live, so many people so eager to learn about SEO and content marketing. So let me just quickly share my screen and get this started. Deepak, you have to enable screen sharing for my this thing.
Yeah, so Sanjay, I will be making you the host.
Yeah.
And you should be able to share your screen. Give me one moment. Yeah, Sanjay, you should be able to share your screen right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So let me know when you guys are able to see my screen. Just type in yes if you're able to see my screen. Perfect. Awesome. So, like I mentioned before, what we'll be talking about is keyword research and content creation. So, this is like I mentioned before, this is content marketing with a perspective of SEO. SEO is a channel for you to market your content. SEO is a channel for you to attract people. You attract targeted people to your blog or any kind of web asset, and content is what you use to attract these people. So the fundamental rule is you need to understand what people want before you create content. The biggest mistake that people do when coming to create content is that they create content what they want to create rather than creating content what people want to read or consume. So your focus should be always that when it comes to SEO, content marketing, and keyword research. Your idea is to understand what people want and figure out the best way to group all of those things together and articulate it in a way that adds so much value to your users that they would not only will you help you build trust, it helps you build authority, credibility, and eventually you'll be able to convert them into customers. So let me give you a few mind-blowing statistics that I would like to share with you. Number one is that the SEO industry in the US alone is worth $80 billion per year. That's 80 billion with a B. So if I have to be conservative, I would say that it would at least be double that in the rest of the world, if not more. So imagine like this is in 2020 and we are just getting started. If it's an $80 billion industry in the US alone, imagine how big it is in the entire world, and especially in a developing country like India. Now, there is a reason why this industry is an $80 billion industry. It is because every single day, there are 3.5 billion searches happening. In fact, the time I took to say 3.5 billion searches, I'm sure that there are 100,000 searches that might have happened across the world on Google as we speak. So the kind of volume, the kind of monopoly that Google kind of dictates in terms of search is absolutely unparalleled, and they enjoy complete monopoly in terms of search, which is why when we talk about SEO, we are inadvertently talking about Google itself. You're not talking about any other search engines. Of course, there are plenty of other search engines. There is Yahoo, Bing, and all of those things. But yeah, nobody uses that anymore. And there are other kinds of search engines which have come across. Amazon is one search engine right now. YouTube is another search engine. So there are plenty of search engines. But now when we're talking about these 3.5 billion searches, when we're talking about SEO, what we are talking about is Google itself. And what is more exciting than the 3.5 billion searches that happens every single day is the fact that 25% of these searches has never been performed before. So it's a brand new search that is happening. So 25% of 3.5 billion is, if I do some quick math, it's close to a billion. So it's a billion searches has never happened before. Now, why is this important? Is because these are 25% new opportunities that is coming to you, new opportunities to solve or new problems to solve for your audience across the world. Now, that is why it is so important. Imagine 1 billion new opportunities being added every single day to the entire sphere is like absolutely amazing, which is why this is so crucial. So 25% of searches has never been performed before. And the reason why I make this very crucial statistic is because, like, I think I started SEO in 2009, and ever since I started, people have been asking, is SEO dead? Is SEO dead? Is SEO dead? And even today, a lot of people ask, is SEO dead? So this alone should kind of testify the fact that it is not only not dead, it is totally alive and kicking, and more opportunities are being created every single day. Having said that, SEO has definitely evolved, and it will continue to evolve in the coming days and coming years.
Sorry to interrupt. I think there might be some background noise in your place, maybe like a fan. Can you check that? People are commenting on it.
Sure, let me just.
Yeah, just give me a moment, guys. Sanjay is just checking if there is some background noise, and he will be back in a moment. So people who have already attended the previous webinar by Sanjay, the initial few slides might be the same, and then he will be sharing with you content marketing tips, and he will also be sharing keyword research tips. And I also have some goodies to share related to SEO towards the end. So let's just wait for a moment while Sanjay is back.
Is it better now?
Yeah, Sanjay, loud and clear.
It's already feeling like a furnace, so if I'm sweating through the video, please excuse me, because it's either the fan in the background or my sweat that you have to deal with. So if you want to close the video or something.
All right.
Anyway, let's focus on the slide deck and not my sweat. So it's fine, absolutely fine. Let me see how quickly and comfortably I can do this. I hope I'm clear right now. So as I was saying, 25% new opportunities being added and created every single day, which is absolutely insane. Now, apart from all of these mind-blowing statistics, what I find the most mind-blowing is this particular statistics, which is a 20x growth in search queries in India in the last 5 years. In just the last 5 years, 20 times more searches are happening on Google from India itself. Now, I don't know if you don't think this is a big opportunity, I don't know what will be. And the best part is we are just getting started with the internet penetration going deeper and deeper in India, and a lot more people coming onto the internet bandwagon. This is only going to increase. So what I would suggest is that I really want you to take SEO seriously, especially if you are targeting the Indian market. A lot of what the US market was about 10 years ago, that's exactly what the Indian market is today. And it's 10 times more in terms of volume with 10 times less competition. So it's all yours to go grab out there. So if you follow all the things that we are talking about in this particular webinar and do it for a long enough period of time, I think you will be able to seize that opportunity. So if you think all of these statistics are absolutely mind-blowing, just type in mind-blowing in the comment section for me, please. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. So if I have your permission, let me quickly introduce myself to you, if a lot of people might not know who I am. So just a quick little introduction. So I started, like I mentioned before, I started way back in 2009. I was struggling to clear my 12th standard. I was like, I'm not going to do engineering. Of course, like all parents out there, my parents wanted me to do engineering. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be doing engineering. And I really wanted to prove a point there. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to make sure I start something on my own. And it took me about 2 years to get some ground. And once I started I started my agency, and it was operational in Bangalore and in Singapore. I ran that for about 4 years, and I had a bunch of clients. I had a ball trying to work with different kinds of clients from absolutely different industries. And then I realized that, number one, I am way too early in the market. Back then, it was like I had to convince people about digital marketing first, and then convince them to buy our services. Right now, that's not the case. A lot of people know what digital marketing is. A lot of people want digital marketing done to their companies and websites. It's just about who is the best out there. So we have reached that stage. We are a much more mature market right now. And number two was that I realized that there is so much more for me to learn, both in terms of running a business and in terms of digital marketing. I thought that the best way to learn more about digital marketing is to go deeper. And of course, you will get to learn a lot about running a business when you work with startups. So in 2014, I started working with a bunch of startups. The first startup that I worked for was called Trilophilia, and we were an outdoor and adventure travel company. And this is where I truly realized, sorry about that. I truly realized the power of content marketing. And sorry about that, guys. My dog is here with me. If he barks, just ignore it. So in Trilophilia, I joined when there was about 500,000 sessions coming in per month for their blog and their website. And by the time I left, we were getting about 1.5 million sessions per month. And this was done purely through SEO and content marketing. And I would, it's safe to say that pretty much, sorry guys, pretty much the whole business was run through SEO and organic content marketing. And I was like, maybe I just got lucky this time, So that's when I went and joined Explara. This was again an event marketing company. Just give me a minute, guys.
Or Sanjay, you can show Maxi for a moment and then maybe put him in a different room.
Yes, let me show you my... Maxi, come here. This is the culprit, guys. Say hi to Max. He is quarantined with me, and he's the guy who's making all the noises. So, Maxi, you're disturbing about 800 people right now. I'm going to put you in another room, okay? Say bye to everyone. Bye. Just a minute, guys.
Yeah. So Maxi is with Sanjay now. And some people are saying same breed as Deepak's pet. It's not the same breed, it's the same dog.
Same dog. Maxi, the Pixel Track's Chief Happiness Officer. And we are making sure that we are taking good care of him. Sorry about that, guys. So yes, and then I started working with Explara. Great, the chat is just blowing up. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, Explara, I set up a blog and I set it up from scratch. I took it from 0 to 100K sessions per month in just 6 months with just 2 writers. So, which means that whatever I'm teaching here today is actually replicable. And I realized that working with these 2 startups. And I knew that, you know what, just focus on the basics, just keep doing the same thing over a consistent period of time, and you will start seeing results. And that's the name of the game. And that's the kind of approach that I take. And that's how I approach SEO. I approach content marketing, and it has worked absolutely great for us. And after that, 2017, me and Deepak joined hands together, and we co-founded Pixel Track Digital. We have actually worked with a bunch of clients even here and gotten pretty much similar results to these guys. And I'll show you a bunch of screenshots with your permission. This is the kind of clients that we have worked with. As you can see, we have worked in automobile, consumer electronics, entrepreneurship and startups, real estate, mutual funds, pretty much everything. And the same kind of concepts and the same approach has been taken for pretty much every company out here. And the kind of results we get is absolutely intense. So these are 4 screenshots that I would always like to show off. As you can see, The first screenshot that you see is the kind of content that I was creating back in Philopelia, and it is still getting about 23,000 organic traffic. This is just an example. We had created much more different pieces of content like this there, and even today they're getting about 1.5 million sessions every single month. So the second one is when we actually used the same kind of tactics for, okay, I think I want to zoom in a little bit. Is this better, guys? Just let me know if it's better. Just say better in the comment section below. Perfect. So yeah, the second one is we start working with Your Story. A lot of people might know Your Story. We use the similar kind of tactics, the similar kind of approach, and look at that. Again, 20,000 organic traffic. And I know everyone will be like, you know what? These are established companies, man. It's much more easier to do it. And we know the drill and all of those things. But the last two screenshots that you see is the blogs of our clients that we set up in PixelTrack. And these are the kind of results we were able to achieve in just 6 months. And one of it is getting about 20,000 sessions every single month. And the fourth one is actually a single blog post, which is getting about 14,000 organic sessions. And what is more interesting and mind-blowing about it is, as you can see or notice, it has 0 backlinks and 0 referring domains. And yet, it is ranking for about 2,500 keywords. I had written a case study about this. I think I had posted it a couple of days back. And I will also be sharing the case study after the end of this particular thing. I'll show you a bunch of more screenshots. These are the kind of screenshots digital marketers, especially search engine optimizers and content marketers, live for. As you can see, the left one where I circled 1,25,000 sessions, total sessions. And that's the kind of, look at the beautiful graph on the left bottom. We started with 0, and right now we are getting about 1,500 sessions every single day, which is translating into about 40,000 sessions every single month. So whatever I am going to share today is absolutely what I personally use, is the approach that I personally use and have used, implemented, and gotten the kind of results that you are seeing here. If you want to get the same kind of results, just type in results in the chat box for me, please. Great. Amazing. What an audience we have today. We have about 900 people right now. Perfect. So let's get into the results. But before I get into the results part, I want to discuss on why most people ignore SEO and they ignore content marketing totally. And more than saying ignore, they get intimidated by SEO and content. Two main reasons. The number one reason is I am a non-technical person, so I cannot do SEO. So this is like the most common thing that I see from people. You know, if you agree with this, just type in agree in the chat box so that I know how many people feel exactly the same way like this, that you are a non-technical person, so that you are getting intimidated by the whole thing. So which is why you feel that you cannot do SEO. I see a lot of people saying agree. So I would like to, if it makes you feel any better, I would like to tell you that I am also a non-technical person, and that did not stop me from doing SEO. Like I said, yes, a little bit of technical knowledge, very little bit is important. Knowing that is definitely going to help you. But when I started off, I was not a technical person at all. So SEO is more of a marketing function rather than a tech function. So that is the way you need to look at it. And it is like probably 97% marketing and 3% tech. So you don't get too intimidated by the fact that it's very technical, SEO looks very intimidating and all of those things. So don't worry about it at all. It is a marketing function. If you approach it like a marketing function, it'll be absolutely great. And so yeah, the second reason a lot of people feel that they cannot do SEO and content marketing is they say that I cannot write, hence I cannot create content. If you agree with this, just type in agree in the comment section for me, please. Right? And this kind of makes me very amusing, because I'm pretty certain that most of us here I've gone to school, and if you've gone to school, most of us have written essays, most of us have written homework. So somewhere, somehow, people just assume that just because they have to create content, it's something very, very difficult. And the reason why this happens is the number one, the core reason is the fear of rejection. A lot of people think that, hey, I'm going to create this kind of content, and what are people going to say about it? Like, how are people going to react to it and all of those things. So you really need to come out of that, because what you're going to create in terms of creating content, you're creating it on the internet. It's not like you're carving it on a rock. So you can always go back, and after you've gotten the feedback for your content, you can always go back and change it. So that is number one. Number two is that once you understand, get into the minds of people in terms of what are the problems they have, these solutions become your content. And that is the approach you need to take, both for SEO and in terms of content marketing. And that is the approach that I take, and which is why it allows me to create extremely valuable and useful content, which allows me to rank in search engines like Google. So, considering that these are the two main obstacles that people face in terms of SEO and content marketing, I have crafted this entire session around it. And I would also like to convince you, or at least try to convince you, why SEO is such an important skill. I really like SEO as a skill because it's a multi-dimensional skill. So you can use it to get a job. You can apply to a company where they're looking for search engine optimizers, and basically get them to get like a sustainable job. A lot of people might want to go through that route. If you don't want to do that, you can provide it as a service. That's how I started my career as a digital marketer. I started as providing it as a service. I was creating backlinks, doing on-site SEO reports, fixing on-site for a lot of websites and all of those things. So you can also start off doing that, because the costs are almost zero in terms when it comes to starting a service. We can also build a personal brand with it. And who better to ask about this than our very own Digital Deepak, who gets about 50,000 plus sessions every single month on his blog. And he has been able to build a personal brand using just SEO and content. And you can also monetize it with affiliate marketing. A lot of you might know Kulwant Nagi, and he's a great friend of mine, and he has done a bunch of things in terms of affiliate marketing. What he does is, or what a lot of people in that area does, is that they create specific websites for affiliate marketing, and they try to monetize using affiliate links. Otherwise, you can also get paid to publish content and links, and you can also use it for lead generation. So there is this SEO is so multifaceted, as you can see, and that's the beauty of it. And the more you learn about SEO, and the way I took off my digital marketing career was, I tried to understand SEO first, went really deep into it, and then tried to tie all the other aspects of digital marketing to it to make myself a more holistic digital marketer. But I still feel that my forte is SEO and content marketing. So, these are the reasons why I totally love SEO as a skill. And what better time to learn a new skill? And SEO is that perfect skill that we can utilize to do all of these things. So with that, let's get started for SEO. Before I get started, I will talk a little bit about SEO basics, and let's talk about what SEO is in the first place. I just really want to rewire your thought processes, rewire the way you think about SEO, rewire the way you approach SEO, which is why I'm going all the way to the basics. I'll be talking about how search engines work and how you can basically utilize all of this information to rank in search engines. So if you're ready, just type in "let's get started" in the comment section for me. Fantastic. Amazing. So let me first try to make you understand what SEO is. And it sounds very textbooky, but I really want to drill this concept into your mind. So according to me, search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your website for relevance and increasing its authority by solving user queries. super important. I'm just going to repeat it again if you want. Search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your website for relevance and increasing its authority by solving user queries. The key term right now or right here is solving user queries. And the more relevant you are, the more authority or opportunity you will get to solve user queries. It's all about SEO is all about solving user problems or user queries in this particular case. So I always tell people that, you know what, I don't know why people call it SEO. It sounds so intimidating. It sounds so artificial, because what you're trying to do with SEO is, like I said, you're trying to solve user problems and you're trying to create a user experience. So I always tell people that instead of SEO, it should be called as user experience optimization. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying to optimize the experience of your users, thereby helping them and adding value, which will allow you to get them to transact with you. So if you think that SEO should be called as UXO or user experience optimization, just type in UXO in the comment section, please. Probably if you have enough people typing in and calling it UXO, we can actually change the term itself and like probably get a monopoly over that. Wow, there's a lot of people who agree that it should be called UXO. Perfect. I think UXO kind of sounds a little cooler also, if you ask me. Anyway, so moving on, let's try to understand how search engines work. So there are three very important functions in a search engine. Number one, it is crawling. Number two is indexing. Number three is ranking. So when it comes to crawling, it is the discovery process in which the search engine send out a bunch of robots or spiders to find new and updated content. So basically what the search engines do, it needs to find out, the internet is vast, right? You know, so many new pieces of content is being created every single day. And basically the search engine needs to know about this. Every time a new piece of content is created, the search engine needs to know about it, which is why they have this function called as crawling, where they send in a bunch of robots or spiders to find new and updated content. Now, once they have found this new and updated content, what it then does is it indexes this content. So it basically tries to understand what the content is about and then goes on to store and organize the content during indexing. So, and after the indexing is done is when the ranking comes into the picture. So basically ranking happens when a user types in a query, Google tries to find the most relevant answer from its index based on several factors and then ranks your page. So these are the main three things, the functions of a search engine that you need to know about. And if you create the most basic website, the most basic blog, your first two things can be easily taken care of. It can be WordPress or it can be a basic HTML website or whatever. I don't know who creates like HTML websites anymore, but yeah. If it's mostly like most of them create using WordPress. So if it's WordPress, your crawling and indexing is pretty much taken care of. What a lot of people struggle is the ranking part, and that is exactly what we are only focusing on in this particular session. How can we rank your particular blog or your piece of content? When a user types in a query, we need to tell them that that particular query is your content is extremely relevant to your to the user query and also extremely authoritative. So if you guys are clear about how this whole thing is working, just type in clear in the comment section below. Awesome. Fantastic. So now moving to the ranking itself, just the ranking part. Now, like I said, if you have a simple WordPress website, your crawling and indexing is pretty much taken care of. So that's not a problem at all for most cases. What a problem arises is the ranking itself. So when a user types in a query, Google decides which page to show first, second, third, and so on, based on 200 different signals. And nobody knows about these signals. Of course, they don't, because that's the secret sauce of how Google works. But we have been able to, like, over the years of trial and error, and basically most digital marketers have been able to reverse engineer how Google works. And basically, we have been able to categorize these ranking factors into three groups. One is relevancy, Basically, how relevant is your page or content to the search query of the user? Next is authority. Among all the relevant results, how authoritative and credible is your page content? And third is user signals. How are users engaging with your page or content? And it kind of like follows the same kind of chronology, if I have to say. I mean, it'll be easier for you to understand if you follow that particular chronology rather. So basically, if your content is not relevant to the user's query, you cannot build that authority at all. So you have to have that relevancy with the user query. When you have enough relevancy with the user query, you will be able to have some kind of ranking which will allow you to develop that authority, and which will then allow you to engage your users. And based on that, it will all of these different signals, Google will start ranking your piece of content. And that's basically how, if you take like a 10,000 feet view of how Google works, this is basically how it works. If you're clear about this, just type in clear in the comment section below. If you want, I can go through this again. Awesome. Looks like most of them got it. So I'll proceed. Now, like I said, the number one thing that you have to take care about is your relevancy. Now, to make your content relevant, you need to know what your users want. That's basically how it works, right? How would you make it relevant otherwise? How would you know whether your content is relevant or not? You will know whether your piece of content is relevant or not if you know what your users are looking for, or if you know what your users want. And this is where I like to bring in, this I feel is the best explanation of what marketing is. The aim of marketing is to understand your users so well, and that your product or your service basically fits it so well that it sells by itself. That is how you need to approach content marketing also. You need to understand what your user wants so well. You basically create content around all of those things that the user is looking for, that you don't even have to do anything to market it or sell it. It sells by itself because it completely fits. It completely solves the problem of the users. So that's exactly how we need to like approach this thing, and which is what keyword research is all about. So keyword research again is nothing but user behavior research. What are your users facing in terms of problems, and how can you solve it for them? This, when somebody goes to Google and types in a particular query, that is the problem that a particular user is facing. And you have to understand, how many people are looking for a problem like that, what kind of problem people are facing, and how many people are facing problems like this, and then create solution in terms of content. You agree with that approach? If you think that this is a good approach to have, just type in agree in the comment section. Amazing. That's a lot of people agreeing with me. Thank you so much, guys. Fair enough. Now let's proceed. So these are the things that you need to know about keyword research. I tell that keyword research is 50% of SEO. It will make or break your SEO efforts, because choosing the right keywords is half the battle won. I have made that mistake, which is why I say it like so heartfelt to people out there who are trying to do SEO and content marketing, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of choosing the wrong keyword. Basically, when I say wrong keyword, what happens is you find a keyword, you see that, oh, there's so much search volume there, and then you try to create content around it, just to realize that there is so much more competition around that particular keyword, and you are nowhere to be seen. And all that effort, money, energy, everything goes down the drain and everything gets wasted. So, and of course, you get demotivated as an SEO guy. So, which is why choosing the right keyword is half the battle won. Choosing where you fight that battle is very, very important. You rather fight 10 small guys than trying to fight 2 or 3 really, really big guys. When I say big guys, I'm talking about the Amazons of the world. You would not want to fight with the big guys out there. You have to find the small pockets of demand where the big guys are not able to come, and you need to satisfy that pocket of demand. And that is what long tail is all about, right? And the internet is all about the long tail. Into this, the 25% searches that I spoke about earlier in the session, that this is exactly what I'm talking about. You need to find those very small pockets of demand and keep filling those small pockets of demand, which will allow you to take this battle head on and get like amazing traffic coming onto your website. So at this stage, what you're doing is you're just trying to increase the relevancy of your content piece. That's all you're trying to do. So to increase the relevancy, you're trying to get the right keywords. So when I say right keywords, the intent behind those keywords is super important. Now, when I say intent, now again, I can broadly divide the intention of keywords into informational, research, and transactional. And this is a very good diagram to explain what I'm talking about. So the search commercial intent funnel. So basically, the top part, the awareness part, is your informational kind of keywords. Your discovery is basically your research kind of keywords. Basically, in informational keywords, you have the what is XYZ, why is this like that, how do you go about doing this, blah, 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 and all of those things. They're trying to seek information about a particular problem. Now, once they have figured out a bunch of solutions, in the discovery stage, they are trying to research about different solutions in this particular. So you get the XYZ versus ABC, or XYZ reviews, ABC reviews, or ABC scam. These are the kind of keywords that people will be looking for. Then it goes into the transaction side of things, where the intent is extremely clear. They're saying that buy XYZ or buy ABC online, all of those kind of keywords. Now, what a lot of people do, the mistake that a lot of people try to do, is they go for the transactional side of things. They go on target only the transactional side of things. They go for the buy XYZ online keywords, like, or, just a minute, guys. Yes, I will be giving live example, guys. I'll be walking you through the whole thing. So the transactional side of things, if you just target those kind of keywords where the intent is extremely explicit, where the intention is extremely clear that the person wants to make a purchase, what happens is not only does the competition at that level is so high that you're competing with the likes of your Amazon or your content websites like entrepreneur.com, Forbes.com, and all of those things. But that section has been largely hijacked by social media sites. A lot of people are actually directly transacting from social media sites. Even you might have done it. I have done it. And so that particular stage of the funnel has already been hijacked by a lot of people. By social media sites. And so you would not want to just focus on these transactional keywords. What you should ideally be doing is you should be going higher up the funnel, wherein you're targeting the informational keywords and then capturing your users there and then getting them down into your own funnel. That's the way you need to be approaching. Now, this has got two advantages. Number one is that you are now not competing with the big guys, because nobody wants to create so much content around all of these things, and which is why this long tail comes into the picture. So this is where the small pockets of demand, which I was talking about, comes into the picture. So the informational side of things higher up, but the intent to get convert is much lesser. But that is not your intention either. You're not trying to get them to convert straight away. You're trying to add value first and then get them to transact with you. So the higher you go up the funnel, the competition is much lower, and the lower you come, the competition is much higher, and the volume is also much lower when you come lower, because a lot of people, you might also do it, don't go to Google anymore to transact. Sometimes we just directly go to Amazon, and Amazon has its own search engine. We just go there, look for whatever we want, and buy it and get out. So you are missing out on those people. So everyone goes through this journey as a customer. They're trying to find out different solutions in the awareness stage, and then they try to figure out which is the best solution they have, and then they go ahead and buy the best solution out there. So everybody goes through this journey. You go through this journey. I go through this journey in different ways. So what I'm saying is, you capture your user at an earlier stage of the customer journey and then get them to transact with you at a much later stage. So if you're clear about this, if you understood what I just said, just type in clear in the comment section for me, please. Awesome. So just a few more things, and then I will jump into my browser and show you exactly how I'm going to do, and that will give you a better picture of what I mean in terms of keyword research. So the tools I use are Answer the Public, Google Ads Keyword Tool, Uber Suggest, LSI Graph, Ahrefs. Ahrefs is my particular favorite. You can also use SEMrush and Keywords Everywhere. These are all the tools that are out there for keyword research. And I'll talk about what thematic grouping is and what topical depth is. Basically, you cannot and you should not be optimizing a page for one single keyword. A lot of people ask me that, like, can I just go ahead and optimize a page for this particular keyword? Don't do that. It makes it look so unnatural. It makes it look so robotic that you will not be able to convert any which way. So instead, what you need to do is you need to go out there and find a theme for your keywords or your topic, and then grouping a bunch of keywords in terms of primary, secondary, and LSI. And then you basically start creating content. And this will also give you the topical depth I'm talking about. So you will have enough things to talk about in around that particular theme or around that particular topic, which will then allow you to create enough content around it. So let me quickly jump into the my browser, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Give me a minute. LSI means latent semantic indexing. Once I'm talking about it in the practical section, I'll let you know what exactly latent semantic indexing is about, and I will basically show you how it is done. Just give me a minute.
I hope you are liking the webinar by Sanjay on SEO. So if you are liking the webinar, just type in yes in the chat box. I think Sanjay is getting prepared for sharing his browser. Fantastic. I see a lot of yes in the chat box. He has a lot more cool things to share, so stay tuned. So what's in store after the webinar? So I'm going to share some free ebooks and courses after the webinar, towards the end of this webinar, only for the people who are live today. So you have something nice coming your way.
Are you guys able to see my screen?
We are still seeing your slide deck, Sanjay. Maybe
Yeah.
you can stop screen sharing and then.
How about now?
Yeah, we are seeing a document. We are seeing a browser.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I'll just work on this sheet, and I'll basically walk you through all the topics that I'm talking about. So let's assume that, I have a content marketing course that I want to sell, so this is my product that I'm trying to sell. So ultimately I want to, basically rank my keyword or rank my content around this particular keyword so that I can get people to buy this particular course from me. Now, ideally, a buying keyword would be something like content marketing course online, something like that. This is a buying keyword. I know that the intention is extremely clear, but what happens is if I go for a keyword like this, this is the transactional side. Right? So this is the intent, the commercial intent of this keyword is extremely clear. So what happens is if I go for this particular keyword, I'm pretty certain that the competition is going to be extremely high. So instead, I'm going to move higher up the funnel and probably talk about what is content marketing, or say content writing for that matter, and how to be a content writer, something like that. So the how and the what and the why, all of these are your educational and informational keywords. So I would rather go up here and I will show you how I different browser or something like that. So basically what I do is, what this allows you to do is understand what kind of questions people have. So let's say that I want to know what kind of questions people have around content writer as a topic. So I'm just going to click on search. It is going to go about and like give me all the different kind of questions that people might have around this particular thing. So basically, this is how this is all the kind of things that people have. See, uh, why why hire a content writer, which content writer, what content writer does, uh, how to hire content writers, great keyword, how to be a content writer, how to be a content writer in India. Now that's a great keyword. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this, how to be a content writer in India. So this is a great keyword instead of, so what I'm doing is I know that eventually this particular person who is trying to understand how to be a content writer in India, or how to be a content writer rather, will eventually be a great prospect for my course, which is content marketing course online. So instead of creating only these kind of content, I'll probably create something like this. But I want to know whether there are enough people looking for this, if there are enough people having the same problems, and what kind of different problems that people have around this particular thing. So the tool that I use is Ahrefs. You guys can use either Google keyword tool or anything of that sort. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to find out how many people have the same problem, how to be a content writer in India. So let's just look India. Not enough people. So probably how to be a content writer. I will look for it and see. This is a slightly better keyword. It's got 350 search volume. How to be a content writer, or how to become a content writer. So these are all the different terms that are there. How to be a content writer, how to become a content writer. Let's see how it is. Oh, see, just that variation alone took me from 350 to 700. And what about this? Did you see that? The search volume is 150, but the keyword difficulty just dropped from like 13 to 2. So I made it much more specific, and just I have a bunch of these things there. So you will get the same kind of results if you do it in Google Ads keyword tool. You just might have to do a lot more digging, but I strongly suggest you use Ahrefs or SEMrush. Ahrefs has a $7 7-day trial. So if you want to do all your keyword research in that 7 days, plan it really well and get into Ahrefs, and probably you can do it. You can also use Ubersuggest, although it's not free anymore. So you can do the same thing with Google Ads keyword tool also. I just want to show you the approach here, rather more about the approach than the keywords itself. So don't worry too much about it. So how to become a content writer in India. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this as my primary keyword. So my primary keyword becomes how to become a content writer in India. Now this becomes my primary keyword, and the theme or the topic becomes content writer. You can also add India if you want, right? So let's go back here. So as you can see, content writing is the parent topic here. If I come down here, you see that these are all the different websites that are ranking for this particular keyword. So there is a website called mindler.com. There is Quora, of course, and myhq.in. Then you have writefreelance.in, Cool Kanya, whatever, all of these kind of things. So more importantly, just look at all the DRs and URs. So DRs and ARs are basically your domain rank and your URL rank. The higher it is, the more difficult it is to beat them. So what you should be ideally looking for, your ideal keyword, just write it down if you want. Your ideal keyword is a keyword with enough search volume with low competition. This is a great example of an ideal keyword. It has just in the right amount of search volume, and the keyword difficulty is also pretty easy. As you can see, a bunch of things here. So what I want to also show is what happens if I go for a keyword like this, and what happens to the keyword there. So content marketing course, as you can see, same search volume, the difficulty is so much more here. And let's see the kind of, see, I will be competing against HubSpot, Coursera, Simply Learn, edX, Udemy, Linda, all of these guys. So instead of competing against all of these guys who have, look at the domain rating and URL rating here. It's 92, 89, 89, 87, 90, 88, 86. So 10x more difficult than the previous keyword. I'll just hit the back button so that you guys can see quickly all the different topics here, all the different websites that I'm competing against. Look at this. 51, 91, 35, 8, 7, 70, 91. Compared to this particular keyword, which is 92, 89, 89, and all of these things. So let me quickly open the chat 1 second. Perfect. So as you can see, it's very tempting for me to go for a keyword like content marketing course or content marketing course online, because the intent of the keyword is super clear, that the person is looking for a content marketing course and he is looking for a course which is online. So I feel the urge to go ahead and create content, but I can create content. What happens is I am competing with like the big guys, the big guys like your Linda, HubSpot is on #1 category, and your Udemy, your Coursera, all of these guys are extremely authoritative websites, are the big guys against whom you cannot actually compete. So instead, I go higher up the funnel for informational keywords like these ones and actually create content around this. So how to be a content writer in India is one such thing. So if you guys are clear about this till now, just type in clear. Or you know what, if you're not clear, just type in not clear. Domain DR is domain rating and UR is URL rating. Basically, it's a third-party Ahrefs given rating to websites. The higher the number, it's a rank between 0 to 100. The higher it is, the more authoritative, the more credible that particular website it is. So, and the more competitive that particular keyword becomes. So, ideally, your DR and UR should be low, and you should be looking for keywords for which the websites that are ranking for is low DR and low UR, things like that. Here is Ahrefs is rank. Cool. So what I'm going to now do is try to get more and more keywords for this particular thing. So instead of, so now I know that how to become a content writer in India. I know it's very specific. So I'm just going to go a little broad and say how to become a content writer and see what are the different keywords that I need to have in my particular uh, content that I'll be creating. So secondary keywords. So let's try to fill in some secondary keywords here. So how to become a content writer in India? Freelance content writer. So that is a great secondary keyword. Freelance content writer. And let's see some more. So when I click on view all, it will show me all the kind of keywords which have similar terms. Technical content writer, I would not want to write that. Web content writer. In India, a good content writer, okay, fair enough. So I'm just going to hit the back button here. All keyword ideas. So now these are all the different keyword ideas that is there. So now this is a great keyword. What is content writing? And you'll know why I'm saying that this is a good keyword. What is content writing? As you can see, although my primary keyword is how to become a content writer in India, I am trying to group a lot of different kind of keywords together so that I get that topical depth. I have enough things to write about in that particular topic. And what I mean by this, and another way to understand how Google tries to understand the content itself, I'll show you a pretty cool trick. You can do this pretty much only in Ahrefs. You can do this in Uber Suggest also, but you can't do this in Google Ads. This thing. So what I'm going to do is just, this is the #1 result for how to become a content writer in India. And I'm going to click on this. And as you can see, it is already ranking for 439 organic keywords. So this will allow me to know that this particular blog is ranking for all of these different keywords, right? And which means that Google is looking at this particular blog, which is how to become a content writer in India. And this is the way it is understanding it. And this is the way it is trying to, rank and index and crawl this particular website. So content writing for beginners, that is another great keyword. So I'm going to put that, content writing for beginners. And India, how to content writing, how to become a good content writer, learn content writing, again, another great keyword. So what you need to do is just do the same thing and basically create a bunch of keywords like this. You'll have one primary keyword, have like 5 to 8 secondary keywords like this. What I then do is I just go to this tool called LSI graph. It basically means latent semantic indexing. So Google is very smart these days. It knows that when you say a content writer, right, you're talking about him. So that is basically also you just can't be writing about how to become a content writer, how to become a content. Just cannot do that. You have to have all those synonyms, all those related keywords also in this particular thing. So what I'm going to do is say content writing India is going to be this thing. I'm going to hit on generate an LSI graph. LSI graph is absolutely pretty good, so you can go ahead and like try it out. Content writer India salary. Again, great keyword. Go back to LSI graph. Startups in India, scope of content writing in India. How can I not forget about this? Everyone wants to know what is the scope of digital marketing, what is the scope of content marketing. So yeah. Writer salary in Hyderabad, content writing, article writing. See, this is what I'm talking about. Article writing and content writing, when you create content around this particular keywords, Google knows that when you talk about article writing, you're talking about content writing. So you need to come up with keywords like this. And now this is a canvas for me to understand what the user is facing, all the problems that my user is facing. So the most important thing is my user is trying to understand how to become a content writer in India. And some of them want to become a freelance content writer. Some of them are at a stage where they don't even know what content writing is. And some of them are at the beginner stage. So they want to know content writing for beginners and they want to learn content writing. And once they do that, they also want to know what the scope for this particular skill is, and because of which, what they want to know the salary, they want to know what article writing is all about. So this gives me an entire canvas. It gives me a theme. It gives me an entire topic, which is content writer India. And that is how you approach keyword research. Now, this is giving you enough keywords for you to create small pieces of content. And now we will move on to how you can actually create content. So if you understood keyword research, please just write in clear. LSI is free, guys. So this is very, 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 very important, guys. So this is the way you need to approach keyword research. Pick one primary keyword around one topic and then create a bunch of secondary keywords. So your secondary keywords is basically, which is closely related to your primary keyword. All the topics, all the questions that your users might have in their mind related to that one primary keyword. And then your LSI keywords are all the synonyms, or how else might they be looking for this? What are the different ways that people are trying to express their problems is what you're trying to do with in terms of LSI keywords. It should be LSI keywords. Yeah, perfect. So this is how you create this theme, this canvas for you to work around, and this gives you enough topical breadth and depth. This is what I meant by topical depth. Now, once you know about all of these problems, you have to create solutions for all of these things, right? So I'll just move back to my slide now. Awesome. So how is it going till now? Is this something different? If you think that this approach is different from the approach that you've been taking in terms of keyword research or SEO, type in different, awesome, good, great, helpful, whatever you want to type in. Awesome, guys. This is so nice to know that, this approach, the change in the way you approach things itself is going to make a huge difference in SEO for all of you guys. So what your whole approach should be that you need to find those pieces of keywords which have enough search volume but does not have that much competition, and then you create, like, go out there and try to find a bunch of keywords around it so that you understand what your users have. If you guys have created user personas, go back to your user personas and put in all of these keywords there. That is actually the problems they are facing. This is exactly the problems they are facing, and this is the exact in-depth insights that you're getting about your users, and that is how you create solutions for them. And how do you create these solutions? When I say create solutions, you have to create content, and I will give you a very, very simple way to create content. You don't have to break your head. You don't have to think about, hey, how do I be creative? The biggest problem people have is that they think that, you know what, my English is not good. Your English need not be good. Your English just needs to be okay. What people are looking for is solutions for their problem. They are not looking for how good your English is. Let me make it very clear. And there are plenty of tools out there which will help you, like, polish your English just enough. Nobody is expecting you to be like Shashi Tharoor or like throwing some fancy words and jargon and all of those things. That is the opposite of content marketing and opposite of content writing. You should not be doing it. Even if you can do that, don't do it. Because your idea is to help your users. Your idea is to add value to your users, and that's about it. And that is how you need to approach creating this content also. And I will give you a very simple step-by-step way to create content. And then again, I will show you an example of how I used all of those keywords to create content for myself, and how basically those keywords translate into content. That will help you to actually go out there and create content for yourself also. So I'll zoom out just a little bit. So these are the 6 main things that you should be looking for in your content. Now I'll be showing how to use all of these primary keywords, secondary keywords, and LSI keywords. So these are the 6 main elements of your content. The number 1 element is your headlines. So make sure your keywords in it and aim for 25 headlines. Now I keep telling all of these things everywhere I go, because the more headlines you create, the better your chances of coming with a great headline. And the reason why you have to have a great headline is because your headline is the first interaction point with your user, right? And the better your headline is going to be, the better your content marketing ability is going to be. So the better your ability to attract those users is going to be. So your headline is very, very crucial. If you don't get your headline right, if you write a crappy headline, nobody's going to click on it and nobody's going to come to your website, and that's the end of it. So invest that effort and energy and time on creating those amazing headlines. There are enough, you can just Google headline generators for you to just get your gears moving in terms of what kind of headlines to write. Most importantly, from an SEO perspective, without forcing it, without making it sound, robotic, make sure your keyword is in, right? Don't try to force it in there. Don't try to make it sound grammatically incorrect. However you speak, just write it like that. Google is smart enough to understand when you speak about a certain keyword, it knows that it may not have to be in that particular order itself for it to understand what it's talking about. Once you have the headline, then you headline will help you attract attention. Your intro will allow you to retain that attention. Now, how do you make sure that you retain that attention? So you create a fantastic intro. The easiest way to do that is you share an anecdote, basically a certain experience that you had, a story that you want to share with these people, or sometimes I also start off my content piece with a shocking statistic, and most importantly, how the content is going to help them. What is the benefit that they are going to get by the time they're reading that piece of content? So your intro is going to be about that. Once that is done, the way you break down your content is super simple. It's you first focus on the what, then you focus on the why, and you focus on the how. The what is basically describing the problem your user is facing and the solution for it, right? And in this case, what is content writing could be the what of the problem. Then you need to explain why your solution, the one you're providing, is the best solution out there. That is what you need to go out there and basically tell people. And then you speak about the how to implement your particular solution. How are you going to implement the solution step by step in very easy steps? And then you conclude with the summary and call to action. Very, very simple. This is how I pretty much craft any kind of content out there. Even this particular session that you're seeing, uh, we spoke about what SEO is. We spoke about why you should be listening to SEO and all these statistics, and how to basically, this is what I'm showing, how to do the keyword research, how to create the content. So basically, the kind of content that I create pretty much everywhere follows this particular framework, so to speak, and that is the same thing that you can also use. So if you think that this is a very cool and easy way to look at content, just type in easy in the comment section. I told you guys. Thank you so much. Amazing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump into the browser again and show you how I have used all of those keywords that we spoke about and created content around that particular problem. Just give me a minute.
Guys, I hope you are enjoying Sanjay Shenoy's session. And how many of you here have already signed up for Sanjay Shenoy's Content Marketing Mastery course? Have you already signed up, or do you know that Sanjay Shenoy has a Content Marketing Mastery course where he has published around 30 videos like this, and he has kind of gone deep into each and everything. So maybe for people who want to know about it, maybe I will tell you about it towards the end of this webinar. But until then, go ahead and continue enjoy Sanjay's session. He is the SEO expert in-house, and he's back. So let Sanjay take over.
Awesome. Thanks, Deepak. So these are all the keywords that we spoke about, right? So, I have already written a piece of content around it, and I'll show you how these keywords have translated into a content piece, how these problems and have translated into a framework, and how it is basically translated into a solution in the form of content. So I have created this piece of content that you can see. So I have put in all the different things that we spoke about in this keyword research into this particular piece of content. And let's start with the headline. So I have this a practical guide on how to become a content writer in India. As you can see, this is the keyword, how to become a content writer in India. And without trying to be forceful, without trying to be robotic, without trying to make it look artificial, I've written this title. And yet, I have also made sure that I try to entice that click from that person, right? I've made sure that they see that a practical guide, which means that when after they're done watching this or reading this piece of content, they will have certain solutions. They will know what to do, how to implement the solution that I'm talking about, which is why I've written a practical guide on how to become a content writer in India. As you can see, I have included the keyword in the headline. I have tried to entice the click by using the word practical, and that's how I do it. Now, coming to the intro, I have shared an anecdote that I have. Basically, I got an email on one of the Sundays, and I shared this particular email wherein this person is asking that how do I become a content writer in India? So this is the actual email that I got from one of our students, and this is why I am doing this. And then I am basically telling them what is the reason why this content exists. So here I am with a practical guide on becoming a content writer in India. Again, as you can see, this is the way I have used my primary keyword. As you can see, I have not used the how to become a content writer in India. This is a variation. Now, when I put it like this, Google understands that I'm talking about how to become a content writer in India. You do not have to forcefully put how to become a content writer in India all the time. You don't have to do that. Always remember, you are writing for your users, not for Google. The more you write for Google, the more Google will hate it. The more you write for your users, Google is going to love your content. So when you're writing for your users, you have to write it grammatically correct. You have to make it sound like you're having a conversation with them more than like they're reading a piece of content. It should be very conversational. As you can see, the way I have written, it almost feels like I'm talking to that person. And that's the way you need to approach when you're writing content also. I'm basically telling why I have this, I am creating this piece of content because instead of writing a response to the email, I thought I'll create a piece of content. And also, I emphasize practical because I noticed that most guides out there on becoming a content writer usually gives extremely shallow advice, if we can call it that. Which is why, and then I move on to the what part, right? The headline is over, the intro is over. I first want to touch upon what, which is what is content, right? So here I give an explanation of what content is and what are the different problems when it comes to creating content people have. Again, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are thinking that content writing is creative writing. I will address that here. That is not creative writing. It's just about solving problems. If you want to be a creative writer, that's a completely different ballgame altogether. You don't have to be a creative writer. You know what people are facing. You just have to give them solutions in terms of all of those things. So I am addressing all of those problems here. Now, is content writing a good career choice? This is the why. Basically, why content writing? Why should I choose content writing might be the question that the person might have. And I am trying to address that here, although I have not actually explicitly mentioned why, but is content writing a good career choice is the why, right? Basically why content writing, is that a good career choice or not? So that is another problem or obstacle that the person might have in their mind. And I have gone in depth in terms of why it is a good career choice to have. And basically gone ahead and given my own understanding about this whole thing, and I've written enough stuff about that. And then I come to the how part, how to become a content writer in India. I've given them a step-by-step approach. Step 0, go niche. Step 1, build a portfolio. Step 2, start creating social proof. Step 3, build authority with blog, blah, 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 and all of those things. And these are the other steps that I have for all of those things. So the what is over, the why is over, and the how is over. I didn't have enough time to complete it, so I just shared whatever I have. Then I ended with the conclusion saying that why content writing is probably the best opportunity to do it. So if I have enough things to write about, as you can see, say for example, content writer in India. Like if you might have observed, I have not tried to force that particular keyword here at all, and you should neither. That's not the way to create content. Do not create content like that. Nobody likes to read that kind of content on the internet. You don't like to read it. I don't like to read it. The person who wrote it doesn't like to read it. So do not force your keywords exactly like that. So just like let it flow, let it be natural as if someone is talking to you. So if you see here, uh, content writer in India, I have just shown it 5 times, as you can see here, and that's enough. You don't have to like try to force it in out there as much as possible. And again, if you this will become my H2 tag in the blog when I publish it. So my actual primary keyword is also in a header tag out there. So content writer is there. Freelance as a keyword is there. Freelance content writer keyword is there. And what else? What else were the keywords here? What is content writing is there. Beginners is not there, or is it? It's not there, but it's fine. I don't want to like force it in there. And salary is something that I'll be focusing on. I'll be creating more content around it. So what I do is once you have this structure of the headline, the intro, the what, the why, and the how, you just have to create 100, 200 words of content for each of these things. And then you have a good 1,500 word article. And this already is 1,900, 2,000 word article, and I think I'll be adding another 500 to 700, if not 1,000 words for this particular article. So easily, if you have enough problems, if you have enough keywords, you can easily create a 2,000 to 3,000 word article like this one. So yeah, and if you think that this is a good example, a practical guide on how to create content, just write in practical in the comment section. So I'll actually publish this piece of content on my blog and share it with you guys so that then you will understand probably how it looks when it actually is published on the blog itself. Because this is just the content part, we still have the on-page part, and probably I'll do a webinar on that also. When I'm publishing the content, I will probably like, show you how I'm making sure the on-page is on point and how you can do the same thing. So let me quickly go back to my keynote. So yeah, again, I'll just quickly go through the whole thing. Make sure you create a good, crisp, engaging headline. Have an amazing intro. I started with an anecdote in this particular example. You can start with the statistic. And then most importantly, basically you need to tell them how the content is going to help them and what is the reason for you to create this particular content. And then you speak about the what. What is the problem that they are talking about, describing the problem the user is facing and the solution for it. And then basically telling why your solution is the best solution. In my case, I told them, is content writing a good career option? And then the how. I gave them step-by-step method to become an actual content writer in India. And then a conclusion, you conclude it with a summary and a call to action. That's basically it. I use this framework pretty much for every single content piece that I create, and you can use it for the same thing. And it's all about practice, like the more you do it, the better you get at it. So let me just quickly open the chat and see. Somebody's asking, is copywriter and content writer the same? It's not actually. It's slightly different. It's I think Vijay did an amazing session on that a couple of days ago. And it's a slightly different topic there. It's more towards sales. Here it's more about adding value, but we'll probably discuss it in another webinar. Now, very simple thing. Always like this, the way I have done, and the way I am also approaching for this particular thing. I am aiming for that small pockets of demand. I went for a keyword which has just about 150 to 200 searches. Probably if you go for the more broader, which would be how to become a content writer, it had about 700 searches, which is not a lot. But if I put all of these keywords together, it will give me enough search volume to go and attack all of these things. And that's the way you need to approach SEO. A lot of people, what they do, they look for this keyword which has some 10,000, 20,000 search volume, but the competition is so high that they are not able to rank at all. So when you approach it like this, what happens is that you don't even need backlinks to rank. You just go out there and rank just because your content is good. Remember one of the screenshots that I showed you? Let me just quickly show it to you again. This one. No backlinks, no nothing, ranking for 2,500 keywords. That's exactly why it is so important to look for the small pockets of demand, go out there, easy competition keywords, create amazing in-depth content like the way I just showed you, and dominate those small pockets of demand. So if each article like this will give you 500 sessions every month, uh, that's more than enough. You just need 500 sessions every single month from one article. So if you have 10 such articles or 10 such posts, you'll get 5,000 sessions per month. I think that's a fairly good amount of sessions to have, especially if you're starting off. And if you need 50,000 sessions, you just need 100 posts of things like this. And if you think that 100 posts is too much, if you spread it out across a year, you just have to create probably one or two pieces of content like this every week. And if you put the right amount of effort, even if you do 50, which is basically like one blog post per week, you'll get 25,000 sessions per month, which is more than enough, especially if you're a beginner. And if you do it enough for a long period of time, you will be able to achieve this. You will be able to find the small pockets of demand, which will then allow you and prepare you, and most importantly, equip you to go out there and fight with the big guys later on and target those much bigger keywords. So go with the smaller, easier, quicker keywords first, dominate them, and then go for slightly more difficult keywords. And even at a conservative zero point 0.1 conversion rate, for 50,000 sessions, you'll have 50 conversions. And if each conversion gives you 1,000 rupees, that's 50,000 rupees. And even if you get half of it, which is 25,000 rupees, it's more than enough. I think a lot of people here would be more than happy with 25,000 rupees coming in by putting in this kind of effort. So that's the way you need to approach SEO, guys. Do not get tempted by the search volume alone. With search volume, you also need to understand more importantly, what kind of competition you're going against, who you are battling against is very, very crucial, and where you are fighting this battle is also very, very crucial. Go for the easier ones, and it's okay. I know it's like your ego kind of hurts just because there's only 150 search volume, man. Like, why should I create so much content? Don't get into that zone at all. You need to focus on the small pockets of demand initially, because you're not the big guy, you're the small guy. So go for the long tail, attack it from the outside, and then slowly get inside. So you will have that time to do that, so don't do it yet. There are a few things that you need to remember. Most important thing, I always tell this wherever I go, every opportunity I get, SEO is not a knowledge problem. There are plenty of information out there. It is an execution problem. This is also the reason why I have started the SEO internship program. Probably will be sending you more information about it if you want to join me and learn SEO hands-on for 8 weeks. This is the way to do it. And I know it because SEO is not a knowledge problem. It is an execution problem. People don't do it enough. People don't do it at all. If you do it enough for a long period of time, you will be able to achieve the kind of results that I'm talking about here. And also, SEO and content marketing is a long-term game. And the best time to sow your seeds right now is right now. The best time to do it. And because there's so many things happening in the world, just right now, sow the seeds of SEO, reap the benefits in like 12 months or 18 months. And it is targeted traffic coming into your web asset month on month, day in and day out. What else do you need? That is the kind of power SEO and content marketing has. And third thing, content is not about creativity, it's about utility. How useful and practically useful is your piece of content to your user? And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how creative you are, how you're like positioning it, how you're like wrapping it, and all of those things. You can do it. If you think you're creative, eventually by going out there and doing it more and more, you will be able to do it eventually. But when you start off at the core of it, even when you are like a pro at it, at the core of it, it's all about utility. It's not about creativity. Last, this is one thing that I always tell to everyone out there: dance like no one's watching, write like no one's reading. Trust me, this helps so much. Like everybody is out there thinking that hey, how are people like going to respond to what I write? You know what? Just assume that nobody's going to read it anyway, and go out there and write it however you want to write it. Make sure it is going to be useful and practically valuable, and that's the way you approach SEO and content marketing. With that, this is the end of my session. It was a 90-minute session. If you think this was amazing, awesome, great, just type in whatever you felt about this particular session in the chat box. It's been a good 90-minute session, so let me know what you guys think about this.
Fantastic, amazing. Thanks a lot, Sanjay, for your 1.5 hours of amazing content. Even I learned something. Some of the things I also keep forgetting about it. Guys, one small request, all the comments that you are giving here in the chat box sometimes gets buried and sometimes gets lost. So I will just go ahead and make a post on the Facebook group. Sanjay, why don't you do it? Go ahead, make a post on the Facebook group while I get the bonuses ready, and put the perma link in the chat box and people can leave a comment there. And guys, I have more than 10,000 rupees worth of bonuses and free stuff only for the people who are live here right now, and then I will be deactivating it. So give me a moment. Lot of amazing comments coming in, and guys, I hope you enjoyed it. And this webinar has been available on Facebook as well. So you should be able to access the recording of this webinar right away on Facebook. In fact, I will go ahead and give the perma link to the live stream that was available on Facebook. So give me one moment. So this is the perma link where it was live streamed. So in the live stream, you would have been able to see the entire webinar, or I will just put the feedback on the Facebook. One moment.
Guys, I'm putting in the link to the
Sanjay,
first.
I think it's on the internship group. Let me put it on the Learn Digital Marketing group.
Okay, cool. Oh yes, there are a lot of people who are not part of the internship group also who are attending this thing, right?
Yeah. Give me one moment. It's almost there. Yeah, guys. So feedback here, please. So you can leave the feedback here, and I will end your screen share, Sanjay.
Yeah.
Guys, you can give your feedback here so that we have a record of all the comments coming in. Amazing, amazing. Really great feedback coming in. So I see Deepak Mishra, Ketki, Harpreet Singh, Sandeep, Raj Arora, Sagar, Sanyam, Meenakshi Singh. Fantastic. Looks like the amount of response Sanjay is getting is way better than the amount of response I get for my webinars. Sudipta got your quote really seriously. Dance like no one is watching, write like no one is reading.
Yes.
All right, guys, looks like Sanjay got a lot of fans here today because of today's webinar. And it is time to share the bonuses that I have promised. So go ahead and leave your comment on this link if you still haven't. And let me go ahead and share the bonuses that I have promised with you. So what I'm going to give you today is I'm going to give you 2 free courses, and I'm going to give you a bunch of ebooks which I have launched. So the first course that I'm going to give you is Digital Marketing Tools Mastery course, which is 4,999. You can go ahead and grab it with the link that I have just shared with you. And then you can also get the Facebook ads mastery course worth 4,999. So these two courses alone are worth 10,000 rupees. And I'm going to share a bunch of ebooks as well. So you know that I have published a book called Edge of Sanity, and I'm going to share you the link to the PDF version of Edge of Sanity. I have also launched another ebook called How to Make 30,000 rupees on the side. You can get that. And I'm also going to share how to make money writing articles. So how to make money writing articles, that ebook also you can get it here. In fact, I have put all these resources on a Google Doc, and you should be able to get it from the Google Doc with the link I have shared with you. So that is the Google Docs link, and all the links are available in this Google Doc. And if any of you want to learn more about SEO and content marketing from Sanjay, I will let you know about it. I know that I told that this is a sales pitch free webinar. We don't want to make a sales pitch. In fact, there is no sales pitch at all. By the way, the slide decks will be shared. But at the same time, if you want to learn SEO and content marketing from Sanjay, and if you want to learn more, just type "want to learn more" in the chat box, put it as all panelists and attendees. And in fact, Sanjay will be letting you know about the SEO internship program. A little bit later, we will do one more webinar. But if you want to learn more from Sanjay in terms of content marketing and SEO, just put "want to learn more" in the chat box. All right, looks like a lot of people want to learn more. We will get around to it, but first go ahead and fetch your free bonuses from the link that I have just given. So Sanjay, looks like a lot of people want to learn more from you.
Fantastic. I would be more than happy to have them in my internship program, and probably will do another webinar or send them more information about the internship program while we are sending the recording, and probably send them an email. What do you think about it?
Yeah. Fantastic. So guys, what we will do is that we will let you know about the SEO internship program in another webinar, and I will send you an email invite for the SEO internship program. So in the email invite, you just sign up for the webinar, and in the webinar, Sanjay will be letting you know about the SEO internship program, while I am doing the digital marketing internship program. Sanjay will be doing the SEO internship program. So in the SEO internship, Sanjay will be letting you know about Sanjay's latest course, which is the SEO playbook, and he will be letting you know about the mechanics of the SEO internship program, how it works, and all that stuff. So that's about it, guys. And I think you guys might have been expecting a sales pitch. There is no sales pitch today, as I had promised. And this is just a value-based webinar. Sanjay will be sharing the slide deck with you guys, and we will be sending an email. And so you will have an opportunity to learn more from Sanjay. So wait to hear more from us, and that's about it.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for being part of it throughout the webinar, and hopefully I'll be doing a lot more webinars like this. Stay indoors, stay safe, wash your hands.
Chalo, bye guys. Thanks a lot, and good night. Bye bye.